Continuing on with the theme of game mechanics, the prior video was all about guns, today is all about everything else in the game, with the exception of knifing, because we all know that shit is more busted than Pamela Anderson's vagina. And much like Pamela Anderson's vagina, knifing has been used and abused to the point that it's killing way too many people. So it's gonna get its own video. Knifing, that is, not Pamela Anderson's busted vagina. Anyway, first thing, I've been mentioning I want environment destruction. One of the things I want to see on maps is permanent debris. It could be parts of a wall, parts of a car, parts of a kill streak that were blown up, doors blasted off, knocked over tables and shit from explosions in rooms, caved in ceilings, floors getting blown up. I don't give a shit. I want something. I want some system of destructive environments for major explosions like RPGs, C4, bunker buster bombs, you name it, I want it. And I know in some of the Call of Duty Ghost reveal they showed some minor shit like pipes coming down from a secure platform, but come on, man, is that all you have? A stage and plan effects of pipes rolling? I mean, fuck that, man. Give us some real tangible environment factors that alter maps from start to finish, not just some one-time map gimmick that has virtually no effect. Treyarch already cornered the market on meaningless map gimmicks. I want long-lasting effects that can alter how a map plays in the long run. It doesn't need to be as dramatic as Battlefield, doesn't need to be bringing down a skyscraper in this motherfucker, but it needs to be something that alter how maps play that works more than stage gimmicks like Treyarch games and all those fucking pipes rolling that we saw in the goddamn E3 demo and shit like that. Next up, grenades and explosives. Right now, we can spam the shit out of equipment. You throw that shit anywhere you want, there's no penalty in the motherfucker. You can piss people off by throwing a non-stop barrage of those shits to the point where they can't see a fucking thing. You can throw these shits next to a teammate and there's no effect unless you're playing hardcore and whatnot. I mean, because after all, nobody wants their teammate to troll them with items like fucking stun grenades and flashbangs and concussive grenades and all that shit. But I want to change that. I personally think it's bullshit that someone can spam throw special grenades all game long, especially since I want Scavenger Pro perk to allow replenishment of special grenades. Initially, I thought of the idea of having special grenades affect teammates. You know, stop people from throwing those shits random and make it more of a tactical device more than anything. However, as we all know, people are assholes. And they will purposely piss off their teammates the first chance they get. So instead, I would like to see ricochet damage on special grenades even in regular game modes that aren't hardcore. You know, the same way you can shoot a teammate in hardcore and that damage kills you, I want that with special grenades in all game modes. Yes, motherfuckers, this game needs it. Right now, there's no penalty for flinging these shits around a map like a fat kid flicking a booger in a classroom. These are tactical devices, great for getting an advantage on your enemy, but aren't being used tactically, and they have absolutely no penalty for misuse. Well, now there is. Anytime you throw a flash or stun or concussive grenade, whatever you want to call these shits, and it only splashes down next to a teammate, you will feel the effects. Now again, this is only applicable for when you hit a teammate only. If you get an enemy and a teammate at the same time, the fact that you got an enemy means it won't affect you. I want this to only affect the people who are careless with these items. Similar to how you can stun or flash yourself with a bad throw, now you can stun or flash yourself if you throw this shit next to a teammate. Now the teammate's gonna remain unaffected. It's only the thrower who will feel the effects if he doesn't connect with an enemy. Now, just think of a game like Headquarters or Hardpoint. People randomly throw shit hoping to stun a motherfucker. This is the effect that I'm looking to stop. Stop the fucking spamming of special grenades. Use these as a tactical device they're meant to be used as. Now, in addition to the stun and flash grenade, concussive grenade, whatever you want to call those two shits, I would include the usual smoke grenade. I mean, we've had this shit for every fucking game, so might as well keep that motherfucker. But in addition to that, I want two more non-lethal but irritating items. Tear gas, similar to how Nova Gas worked in Black Ops 1, but this won't kill you. You'll be disoriented, your vision will be all fucked up, but you will not die from tear gas. Also, a teammate entering a tear gas cloud will not affect you the same way a stun or flash grenade affects you. If you threw it on a teammate and explodes on them, yes, it will affect you. But them just walking into a random cloud of tear gas that already exploded, that will have absolutely no effect on the thrower so that people don't fucking troll you with this shit. Now, the final item that I want is just me being cruel. It's called a pepper spray bomb, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Right now, there's no military item like this, but there are some homemade items using pepper spray and mace in the form of exploding canisters. In other words, something militaries can actually use. And if you guys don't believe me, YouTube is a wonderful place to go see what people do when they have way too much fucking time on their hands. The concept is pretty simple. It works like a flash or stun grenade. It affects you upon impact, but the difference is that a flash and stun grenade have an immediate impact that lessens over time. Pepper spray bombs will increase the effect over time. This will include blurry vision, that red blinking screen to show that your vision's all fucked up and whatnot. It's not going to do major health damage, but the effects are going to last a good 10 to 15 seconds, and it gets progressively worse as you get hit with the motherfucker. And much like a stun or flash grenade, this will affect you if you throw it at a teammate and you don't hit an enemy. Yes, motherfucker, it's like getting pepper spray in the eyes. It's some painful shit, and absolutely excellent for video game usage. Great Grenades will be back with the usual grenade and Semtex, and a new one, an incendiary grenade. Remember my white phosphorus airstrike? Well, throw that shit in a bottle and you have yourself a thermite-induced incendiary grenade. It's a slow and painful death, and it's also going to take into account how close the explosion occurred next to you. Similar to surviving a grenade, you can survive an incendiary grenade if the explosion occurs far enough away from you. And yes, this shit will burn no matter what, but no, none of these will kill you in game modes if you throw them wrong. Hardcore, obviously, yes, you'll have the ricochet damage, but these are not going to affect you like a flash grenade or a stun grenade or shit like that if you land it next to a teammate. No, we're not going to have that bullshit. Now, as far as protection from grenades, there's really nothing that's going to protect you. You know, no flak jacket or anything other than a full decked out bomb suit like a Juggernaut suit is actually going to protect you. However, I really wish there was an option to throw yourself on a grenade to prevent more deaths for your teammates. You know, pretty much what you used to see in the old days of war and shit like that. I don't think anything advanced like that can happen in a video game, but the reality is, explosives are gonna fuck you up in this game. RPGs take out vehicles. A Juggernaut suit is not gonna stop that shit. C4 takes out walls of buildings, and hell, whole fucking buildings. A flak jacket isn't gonna work on that motherfucker. But that's why I added perks in the games against explosives. You know, like resetting a fuse, marking explosives and shit like that. You know, I don't want to dumb down the power of explosion in the game like these two developers have done. There's no reason an RPG blasting at someone's fucking feet won't kill them. I mean, it's totally bullshit to watch a motherfucker walk through a direct impact of an RPG. I don't want that shit. So instead of making the explosions dumbed down, I'd rather limit how many explosions one player can create. I want to make these shits powerful, but I don't want to give them an endless limit like we had in prior games. You know, obviously, Modern Warfare 2 was a clusterfuck of one-man army that never got fucking fixed. And Black Ops 2, you could replenish explosives with scavenger under certain conditions, obviously. I don't want that. I don't want an endless supply of explosives for people. What I want is what Black Ops 1 and Modern Warfare 3 had with explosives. They never replenished. That's the easiest way to limit explosives, but keeping them powerful as always. Now, another mechanic that needs to be adjusted in this game is the playing dead feature. You know the one. It allows you to look dead and trick the other team. You know, I've used it myself, and the reality is, it's a bullshit mechanic in the game. It's not that it's abused. It's certainly funny, but pressing a button to switch to your other gun over and over and over again shouldn't make you appear dead to the enemy. I mean, come on, man. To me, it's a minor thing, but it doesn't need to be in the game anymore. Now, there are a few features that I would like to add to the game that have not been done in a Call of Duty game before, and these are the kind of things you can only do with a new engine. Probably not this modified 10-year-old engine these assholes are calling new. First thing, I want the ability to somehow, I don't care how it is, identify what kind of guns and loadouts people on my team are using, whether it's in the scoreboard screen, a loading screen, or in the game where I can see it on top of their head and shit like that. But if I find out that 5 people are avoiding the radar, and I'm the one asshole on the team not avoiding the radar, I want to know that shit. If I see I have 4 snipers on my team and another one's using the FAL or the M14 and we're playing headquarters, then I know I'm going to be the only asshole running around for objectives. Hence, I will leave the room and let them get shut out. You know, this is not a major advancement, it's not a deal breaker of an addition, but it's good informational item for people that play the fucking game. Another game mechanic I would like to see is a reduction in points if you continue to kill people from the same location. In other words, a big fuck you to campers. Now look, nobody runs and guns 100% of the time. Nobody. We've all posted up, held down a location, protected an objective, whatever the fuck it is. But staying in one location all game long or for minutes on minutes upon end should have some sort of point reduction. Whether you stay in the same location for 3 to 4 minutes or 8 to 10 kills from one spot, or if the game notices that you're staying in one building, you just keep moving from upstairs to downstairs, whatever the fucking case it is, there should be some form of point reduction if you continue not to move. Now, I would also scale this to game types. You know, something like headquarters where you're defending a spot should have more leniency than, say, team deathmatch or free-for-all. There should be differences in a game type on how they're played, and I want to include that in this point reduction system. I want to be able to penalize people that basically sit in the corner all game long, as opposed to somebody who's sitting there protecting their objective, trying to prevent the other team from trying to capture that motherfucker. There is a major difference. Also, the game needs better death animations. Look, I love the ragdoll physics, and I would keep all that shit in the game, but I at least want to add a couple more animations to this motherfucker. Look, we've seen the same 10 death animations for 6 fucking years now. You know, for sniper rifles, I want graphic details of where they got shot. If I shoot someone in the leg with a 50 cal, I want that motherfucker to fall off. If they get shot in the arm, I want to see that shit blown off. If someone falls on a grenade, as mentioned before, I want body chunks to come flying at me. I want something different with the death animations, which is another thing I want to add. Blood spurts. If your teammates get shot, or hell, if you get shot and survive that motherfucker, I want clothing to show signs of blood on it. I want the blood to splatter across people's faces if they're within proximity of a close death. You know, I know this ain't Saw. This game ain't Texas Chainsaw Massacre and shit like that. But motherfucker, I want some gore. This game is rated mature, right? So add some realistic death effects. Hell, if Gears of War can have chainsaw deaths, Call of Duty can at least have some Saving Private Ryan type dismemberment and shit. And man, anybody knows that movie, that fucking scene on Omaha Beach was just brutal. Oh man, that shit made me sick to my stomach. Anyway, I want more death animations, and I want more visual blood after people getting shot. Very simple. Now the final mechanic that I would change would be something small. When you climb a ladder right now, you're not able to shoot your gun. Basically, you climb up and you have to wait until your entire body is at the top to be able to shoot your weapon. Well, I want the ability to at least be able to shoot from a ladder for protection. You know, when you shoot, you obviously stay stationary on the ladder, so you're still vulnerable on the motherfucker, but at least want some form of protection if they're gonna have ladders in this game. Right now, you can't do shit. You're just a sitting duck up there, so I would like some mechanic that allows people to shoot a gun from a ladder. Now, there's still at least a good 10 or 15 items that I wanted to add, but they're so tiny that they really wouldn't change the game in any way, so I'm not really going to bother discussing them. You know, things like left-handed shooting weapons or pinning people in corners, kill streak logic as to who they shoot in the motherfucker. You know, all of these were small, basic items, but I'm not going to waste a whole video talking about 10 or 15 small items that really have no impact in how we play this game. There are all kinds of things that can be tweaked, but you have to draw a line somewhere where you're fixing fucking everything in the goddamn game, so I'm not really going to talk about all the tiniest details of fixing this motherfucker. However, I do have one more video to go on in game mechanics, and that's coming up next, and that's going to be talking about knifing. Oh, the fucking knifing problem this game has. And of course, I need a whole video to rant about that joint. So anyway, as always, rate, comment, subscribe, and all that good shit. And I'll see you guys in the next Blueprint video where we talk about knifing up in this motherfucker.